Hola, good people. This is your man DJ Wolf D coming at you with another quick tutorial for the Akai MPC software and the Akai MPC Studio. I've had some folks ask me about tracking out instruments. They want to know how can I just pull up, whatever individual instruments that I have via plugins or external MIDI keyboards or whatever, and sequence those instruments into the MPC software. It's very simple and easy, so we're going to go through this right now. First thing I want to do is just check and make sure my MIDI keyboard, my Oxygen 61, is already synced up and connected. So I just went to Preferences, click MIDI, and yes, okay, active MIDI inputs, Oxygen 61 is already selected, so I'm good with that. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is show you where you pull up the actual tracks for different instruments. This section right here in the software. When I click the drop down window, as you can see, we have a total of 128 instrument tracks that we can pull up. So we can have literally 128 different instruments pulled up, within this individual project. And there are three different types of instruments. One is the MPC itself, so any samples or anything that I have on the pads that I can play. The second type of instrument, a MIDI instrument. So if I have, say, an external piece of gear, let's say a Korg Triton, okay, I can connect my Korg Triton via the MIDI cables, and I can play the instruments from my Korg Triton and sequence them here inside of the Akai MPC software. All right, and the third type of instrument, plugins, and this is what I'm going to be using today for this quick tutorial. Of course, the Akai MPC software can take and use VST plugins. So the first thing I'm going to do is program a beat, just lay down the foundation for what we're going to be doing here. So let me change the tempo from 120 down to 100 beats per minute, and we'll make the sequence 4 bars instead of 2, and let's put this on full level so that my sound is playing at the maximum volume level, and let's go ahead and record. Okay, so there's our 4-measure beat. Let's see. What we're going to do now is pull up a few different instruments. All right, and then we'll actually, play some stuff, create a few different sequences, and then string them all together into song mode as a song. So our very first instrument was, of course, the MPC itself, my percussion sounds there. So now I'm going to pull up another instrument, so we're just going to go to track, click the drop down selection, and we can click any other unused track. So let's go right to track 2. So now this is where I'm going to pull up a plug-in instrument. All right, so from our 3 selections here, I want to choose plug-in, and you see the plug-in instrument window pops up. So this selection here, this is where we choose the actual plug-in that we want. We just select it and then click add plugin, and another window is going to pop up with all my plugins, my VST plugins, all that good stuff. MIDI channel 1 through 16, we don't have to adjust anything here. We can do everything that we're going to do today on MIDI channel 1. And program, this is where all of the patches and the presets would pop up for whatever plugin or VST instrument that I'm using. So let's go ahead and select an actual plugin. So we click add plugin. I'll use the Novation Bass Station plugin. Click OK. And now that it's popped up, as you can see, I have access to all of the presets here, all the patches. And if I click edit, the actual VST instrument window pops up. So this is where I could I could play notes from the window here. I can adjust the parameters up here. I can also go through the different sounds by, clicking program here. All right, or just close this out. Or of course we can, choose any of the sounds from this selection here. So we'll just go ahead and use this bass sound here. Let's go ahead and pick a few more instruments. We're gonna go to another track now. So our next unused track, track 3. Select plugin once again. I'll pull up, let me see, add plugin. I'll pull up a grand piano this time. So I'll select contact. Let it load up. Click edit. And I'll go ahead and choose my grand piano. I'll do New York Concert Grand. Let that load up. And yep. Alright, so we're good there. And let me close this out. And we'll pull up one more sound. Let me get something different here. Next available track, track 4 we'll use. Once again, plug-in is a type of instrument. And add plug-in will, let's use massive. Alright. And now that massive is loaded up, I'll click edit. Massive pops up here, and let me pick a sound. Alright, yeah. I'll use this crazy synth sound here. Alright, let me close that out. So the first thing I'm going to do is we have our beat laid down. I'll lay down a bass line. Oh, I'm sorry. Even before I actually record these parts, we can rename all these tracks. You don't have to leave everything as track 1, track 2, track 3, whatever. So track 1 is where I have my beat. So I'll just call this drums. Alright. Track 2, that was our synth bass. So let's just call that synth bass. Track 3, this was our grand piano, I believe. Yep. So let's call this grand, a piano. I still spelled that wrong. Okay. And our fourth and final instrument was the crazy synth sound from massive. So let's just call this massive synth. All right, so now we can very easily see exactly what instrument we have on what track. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up our synth bass and let's record a bass line. All right, so there's our bass line. Now let's lay down a piano part. So all we do is switch to our piano and record. Oops, forgot to change the octave here. It was way too low. All right, let's do this again. Okay, so that's all good for that first sequence. And I want to turn the volume down this piano, so I'm going to press the program mix button, well, the track mix button, and take the volume down on that grand piano. Okay, main screen. And now let me see. What do I want to do now? Now I'll copy sequence 1 and record a totally different piano part on another sequence. So sequence edit, then I click 5 for copy a sequence, copy contents of sequence 1 to contents or over contents of sequence 2. Do it. All right, so now I'll record another piano part here. Record over what I already did with that piano. Okay, so we're good with that. Let me see. I'll record 2 more sequences just so we can have a nice little variety going on, and then we'll put all these things together in song mode to create our song. So let me see. I'll once again copy sequence 1. Sample. I'm sorry, wrong button. Sequence edit. Copy a sequence. Sequence 1 to sequence 3. And alright, another piano part here. I'll record over the pianos I already have there. Okay, that'll work for sequence 3. And sequence 4, let's copy sequence 1 once again. Sequence edit, copy a sequence over the contents of sequence 4. Okay, so sequence 4, this is where I'll pull up our final instrument, which was the massive synth. Well, let me turn this down. I'll take mix. Massive synth, turn this down some. Okay. Main screen. So now let's go ahead and record our massive synth sound on sequence 4. As a matter of fact, I'm going to record this without the timing correct on, just because of the notes I'm about to play. So I just pressed the timing correct button, and it's currently on 16th notes, which means, you know, whatever I play, if it's a little bit off, it'll automatically put the notes to the near 16th note to like make it perfect. But I'm specifically going to take this off because I don't want it to be absolutely perfect for this little part. Let me go ahead and record. Okay, so there's our part. So we now have 4 individual sequences, and we can go ahead and put these babies into song mode. So all we do is press song, and we have the option of creating the song either right here on the screen on the hardware or using the software. I'll just go ahead and do this from the software here. Whatever sequences that you have recorded, once you click the song mode button, those sequences end up appearing on the pads on the screen. So as you can see, the first pad says sequence 1, the second pad says, oh, I forgot. You know what? I'm going to go back because I didn't rename these sequences. I'll just go ahead and rename them right now. Sequence 1 can stay as sequence 1. Sequence 2, I'll just rename this to sequence 2, just so we clearly know what we're working with here so we don't make any mistakes when we're putting this stuff in the song mode. This was sequence 3, and rename this one to sequence 4. Okay, so now let me click the song button. Alright, so the first pad says sequence 1, the second one says sequence 2, third says sequence 3, and this one says sequence 4, and all these say unused because these are the only sequences that we created. So in order to put these things in the song mode, all we do is just grab the pad for the specific sequence you want and drag it to the little sequence screen over here on the left side. So that was sequence 1, this is sequence 2, this is sequence 3, just drag and drop. And even after you drag and drop these sequences over here, you can still click the drop down arrow and create and select any other sequence that you wanted to choose. Okay, but I want these to play in this specific order: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll go back to sequence 3, and then we'll just end the song with our original sequence 1. As a matter of fact, there's one thing I want to do here with sequence 4. Let me see, sequence 4. I just want to do, just for that little breakdown, I'm just going to do something very simple with the drums. So let me go ahead and select 16 levels for the hand clap. Do it. And let me record. That's all I wanted to do, just add that one little part. Alright, for the little breakdown. Now let's go back into song mode. And we can play our entire song now. Let's see. Follow along at the top as it's switching from one sequence to another, or down here. And back to our original sequence. And that's it. That's all it takes to pull up individual instruments, track them out, create individual sequences, and tie them all together in song mode. Okay? So there are two more things I'm going to show you right now. One, if we wanted to export that song out, all we would need to do is go up to File, click Export as Audio Mixdown. So we have an option to do this as a WAV file, AIFF file, or an MP3 file. We'll go ahead and do a stereo MP3 file, 128 bit rate with a 44.1 sample rate. Click Export. Now you pick a destination, wherever you want it to export it out to, and we'll just do this right to the desktop. And this is where we name it. So we'll just keep it as untitled. When I click save, we'll be able to see it rolling in real time as it exports it out. And it'll do it pretty fast. So save, and you can see it rolling right now. And also down here, if I click this, show the time. And that's it. It's a wrap. It's right here on the desktop now. So I can click this and play it from the desktop. And that's it. So one final thing I'll show you. Once we've done all this, if we wanted to save this project, all we would need to do is go to File, Save Project As. So right now the default setting is to save it in the MPC Documents folder, but you can choose to save it anywhere, wherever you want. And of course you just name it, and we'll call this our MPC Instrument Tracking Test. And it saves it as a .xpj file. So all the xpj files are actual projects. So that means it's going to save the program, aka your drum kit. It's going to save the sequences, all the individual sequences. It's going to save your song. Everything that you pulled up is going to save it all. And click save. And the next time you decide to pull it up, next time you pull up your MPC software, you can just go right to load recent or whatever if you want, and it'll just pull it right back up just as you left it. Okay, so that's it. That's it. That's everything. That's all it takes in regards to the basics of you being able to pull up individual instruments, track them out into sequences, create your songs, blase skippy. That's it. So hopefully this helped you out. And that's it for now. It's your man DJ Wolf D signing out. Peace.